Hello there. I was in Wales yesterday, in Porth, at a special meeting hosted by the Voice of Wales, where they ran a sort of a question time panel. And I met Andrew Bridgen there. Hello there. And today I am with, as you can see, Andrew Bridgen, former MP for North West Leicestershire. And we are here in a secret location in Wales, having had a meeting with the Voice of Wales. They held an event and it went relatively well, I think, don't you?
It was a robust debate, I think we would be calling it.
Robust debate, yes. There was a lot of talk, especially when it came round to discussing Welsh Labour, the Welsh Labour Party. Who has a fantastic track record in Wales, as we all found
Well, they're
out.
completely culpable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did find it interesting when they said about Chris Bryant's right-hand woman. I've never seen him with a woman on his right hand.
No. So nor have I, but there you go. That does seem a bit strange. But the Voice of Wales did run a good meeting. It was well attended. Oh, and of course we did have some intervention by some people from another persuasion, the Antifa or whatever they were, mob, that normally turn up at these things and call everybody who doesn't believe in totally open borders a fascist or a Nazi.
And they were wearing masks as well.
And they were wearing masks. In fact, I've got some video footage which I'll include in this as well, at some point during this conversation, so you can see the reaction by the ordinary Welsh people with a hose. That's very good watching.
Cool them off, cool their ardour.
It cooled their ardour off a bit. I think it caught them out because they didn't expect that. And they didn't last long. They soon went as soon as we started our meeting. But
The first wash the bad ever! That's cold water! That's cold water!
yeah, so the meeting got on, and there was David Atherton was there, and we've got Richard Taylor, the new leader of the new Advance UK in Wales. I'm hoping to have a chat with him as well. Catherine Blakelock, who actually formed the Brexit Party right at the beginning, and now is the owner of the Brexit Party at this juncture, and of course Andrew Bridgen here. So what do you make of the state of the nation? Where are we?
I think the fact that Jeremy Corbyn could talk about forming a new party with no policies and suddenly be polling at 15% shows how soft the vote is out there for the established parties and how vulnerable they are. People know that I think none of the established parties are going to offer the solutions the country needs.
No, you're right.
And as we've already discussed, I don't think Nigel Farage and Reform even has the appetite to actually the hard work and the graft it will take to sort this country out. He's not used to it. They're not ready for it, and I think he's selling the public a fraud, quite honestly.
Yeah, that did come out. Quite a few people thought that, especially Catherine Blakelock. She made it quite clear how she turned it.
So I think the people know there is the solution is not there yet.
No.
I had hopes that Rupert and Ben Habib were going to get together and we could rally around that, but that's apparently not to be.
Yeah.
So we'll march on, and I think the solution will come. That's, of course, if we ever have another general election in the form that we're expecting or have experienced in the past. That's not guaranteed, I think, the way the state of the nation.
No, what worries me is at the moment we're going through a whole electoral reform in the case of giving 16 and 17-year-olds the vote. Now, when that bill, which I think will come before Parliament very early next term, after the summer recess, in fact, I think it's going to be pushed through because it gives them time, if they get that through, to then hold a general election and hold, they think, all the cards. But there is also going to be huge amounts of amendments put forward to that legislation, which will include votes for EU members, EU citizens, votes for all foreign people over the age of 16, not just the ones that have naturalised. It'll be everyone. These amendments will be made in Parliament, and you can see Keir Starmer doing his backroom deals like he did recently with that, which was the bill that recently he had to water down completely in the face of all those.
Let me tell you. Do you know why Keir Starmer's putting forward votes down to 16?
Go for it.
It's not just the fact that he sees political advantage in it. That's because when he signed us into the European Defence and Securities Union, gave the EU, it's cross-EU, Ursula von der Leyen, the ability to conscript from 16 to 35. And you can't ask them to fight for your country if they don't get a vote. So they need to be very careful what they're voting for.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they'll have to be careful of what they end up fighting for.
Well, yeah, and at the moment, from what I've seen, youngsters aren't particularly wanting to fight for a country that told them that hates them.
Our conscription support for it in this country is about 34%. It's nearly twice that in France, and it's about 50-odd% in Germany. So there is no appetite. But that is one of the reasons he's got to bring voting down to 16. It's because they could be conscripted.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't actually have that on my agenda, to believe.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear about that before.
Well, a bit like Keir Starmer saying yesterday, he's done this great trade deal with India,
Yes.
with Modi,
Yeah.
and he's dropped the tariff on cars and whiskey, and it's going to create 2,000 jobs. That's brilliant spin, because what he's just enabled is for Tata to relocate Jaguar Land Rover to India and then export the cars back here tariff-free.
Yeah, and the factories are already built.
The factories are already
So it's already set up, ladies and gentlemen, to do that.
and that will devastate the West Midlands and what's left of our manufacturing base.
And you think that all came about just under Labour, or did some of that start under the Tories quietly?
It started quietly under the Tories,
Yeah,
but
the
you have to
Unit
remember
Party.
the Unit
Yeah.
Party. But you have to remember that Tony Blair's Labour Party did nothing to save the jobs at MG Rover when it collapsed.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. They've got form on this, and I worry in the East Midlands. I mean, there's a lot of employment at Rolls-Royce Aerospace, with energy costs to business 5 times higher than China, 4.5 times higher than India. They've got the perfect excuse because of our net zero hoax that they're going to move production to another country.
Well, it feels that it makes them feel good, doesn't it? We don't expend any carbon here, so this
We
is
import it
wonderful.
all.
Yeah, we import it all, but it's
So
not the same.
What are we going to do, Jeff? Are we all going to sell each other insurance and walk each other's dogs?
Yes, that's
Or we
exactly.
can actually be able to make anything.
No, actually, we can cut each other's hair, but it'd be a one-way transaction between us two, wouldn't it? So we can do all the hair cutting and nail varnishing and all the rest of it. But the British have got this idea. I think the British established have got this idea that we're so good at paperwork, we can do all the law for the world, we can do all their accounting. The trouble is, the AI's coming along. They won't need lawyers and accountants for much longer. Not in the numbers we're talking about. You'll just go online and you'll get the answer for free. I mean, can you imagine that?
In seconds.
In seconds, you'll get the answer for free instead of having some. And so, what are we going to be doing? Exactly what are we going to be doing? Oh, we'll be a centre for, I don't know, filming, sort of cinema and stuff like that. We'll be selling our heritage off just so we can be filmed.
I think they're probably going to turn the country into some sort of amusement park.
Yeah,
And I walk around the Sumter, I think it's already there.
No,
Yes.
it's the ghost train already, isn't it? Chamber of Horrors and all that sort of thing. Yeah, there's no real. Don't you just get the feeling that there's no aim?
Doesn't it feel like this is more like the end of something than the beginning of something?
Yes. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it
Yes.
is. It sounds more like the end than the beginning. And Keir Starmer is just here to continue the uniparty system. All the paperwork was probably put on his desk before he even went into number 10.
Well,
Here's all the stuff.
I had a Labour MP last week who I'd known for 14 years in Commons, who always yearned to be on the government benches and in power. And he actually rang me, and he is absolutely miserable. He said to me, "We're all out at the next election." I said, "You've got to be careful what you wish for. In just 12 months, you've destroyed your own political party by taking the globalist policies and ramming them through at some speed." And he actually admitted to me, because I asked him if he voted for that appalling decriminalisation of abortion up to birth, and he said he didn't know, but he always voted with the government. He's now got to the stage where he doesn't look at the order paper. He just goes, when the bell rings, he goes in and goes where the Labour whips are. Because if he doesn't realise what he's actually voting for, he can rather sleep rather better. But I'm not sure that's fulfilling the duties of an elected member of Parliament.
No, it's not. It's actually very cowardly and very treasonous in some way, I'd put it. If you haven't got the guts to stand up for yourself, then and your constituents, you shouldn't be there. In fact, the most honourable thing would be to say goodbye, wouldn't it not? Except, of course, for all those wonderful expenses and the big pay packet.
That's it, and and all those people say, well, that the Starmer's government could collapse and we'll have a snap general election. I mean, the turkeys don't vote for Christmas,
No.
and the worst they're doing in the polls, and obviously the rise of any Corbyn party on the left is going to eat into their vote a little further. No, we're going to be going to the end, I think, with this Labour government. It'll be the bitter end as well.
Richard and I had a live stream chat about this yesterday, and what we sort of said was that at the end of the day, if Corbyn eats into the Labour vote, and Reform is doing extremely well, and Keir Starmer won't want to go down as the last ever Labour Prime Minister who took his party into... and he might do a Rishi Sunak and call it early in order to salvage something. And that's the sort of thing.
Or he could try and pursue what his policy with France that with Macron he's been pursuing, which is to get us into a war with Russia, in which case we might not have another election for a while. We could have a coalition government.
Well, they did it during the Second World War.
Yes.
They cancelled the general election, and the government, then everybody got together in Parliament to fight the war. But I'm not sure that would happen, because at least 100 MPs would probably be fighting for the other side, or for any other side, because they'd see it as a way of destroying the UK. Because a lot of these MPs aren't in there to help us, especially these new independents. And a lot of the Labour politicians who are in there for Gaza. They're not in there for us.
Well, didn't a load of them want the UK taxpayer to pay for an airport in India?
Well, they claim
they
wanted us to push India to build that place, or that Pakistan to build that place, but we weren't going to pay for it. That's sort of what they say.
They'll have to take it from the aid money, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's
you
another
think we should be giving aid money to people who won't take their illegal migrants back?
No, we shouldn't be. No,
I think
absolutely
we do
not.
have some leverage over them, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Not that much, though, really, because, the rate they're growing, because they've taken all our business off of us, all our manufacturing off of us, and all the rest of it, they are now making lots and lots and lots of money, and we're buying their stuff. So, in fact, who has they're the ones who could just turn around and say, we're not selling you anything. What would we do? What would we do if they turned around to us tomorrow and said, we're not selling you any new computers, we're not going to send you any raw materials or anything? What would we do? We have no expertise in it anymore. We can't manufacture anything. It will break. The UN, one of the high courts of the UN, just a couple of days ago said that if you signed up to a net zero treaty and you don't follow it, the rest of the world can now sue you. So that means
the people who haven't signed up could sue us for not committing economic suicide.
Well, basically, anyone can sue.
You promised us you were going to destroy your economy with these green rubbish, and you haven't done it, so we'll have to sue you.
Correct. So they'll destroy us one way or the other. And if that's the case, then we can't build factories anywhere. We can't even build new reservoirs.
But isn't it funny that everything, the environmentalism and the fixation on man-made climate change, never extends to talking about the carbon footprint of dropping bombs on people or shelling people.
No, that's
sort of outside of the remit, isn't it? It doesn't really matter. Well, I can't think of anything more destructive to the environment and the atmosphere than dropping bombs on people.
Yeah, it just reorganises things a bit, Well, it's quite funny because just looking back at the World War I, when they had all the, the real thick warfare in those trenches and all the rest of it, and it always seemed to be soaking wet. And someone did say to me, I don't know how true this is, I'll have to look this up, it just occurred to me, that when you have these bombs going off and loads of explosions, it throws all this stuff into the air, it seeds the clouds and it just pours. And so it just makes the situation 10 times worse. Revenge of God, I suppose you could call it in some ways. But no, I think you're right there. And we shouldn't... there are reasons to go to war, but not all of them are good reasons.
Did you believe Keir Starmer when he said, we could end up fighting a war on our own our own soil. Presumably, I think he's thinking that Russia are going to invade us. I'm not sure why Mr. Putin would want our problems.
No. I think Putin has got his own ideas, having read that essay he wrote back in 2016, 17. He wrote a big long essay about Ukraine and various other places. He does have ambitions, but I don't think they extend as far as us. And if we do have any type of conflict on our streets, it won't come from him.
Absolutely. I think as a nation we're being pushed to civil unrest. I think it's pushing for it this autumn. I think that's going to, over the migrant situation. I don't know which spark would set it off, but it's very easy to see it could kick off. And I think that will be an excuse for a major reduction of freedoms and a sort of police state being introduced to keep us safe.
Absolutely. But how many police have they got? How many army have they got to actually do this?
Well, what if they were to say, well, we've had to, we've suddenly found we've got all these, young, fit men who've come across in boats and they're all over the country, and they're going to back the police up to keep you safe.
Yes.
In return for a passport.
Yes, absolutely. And if you do actually come across them in your daily work and you actually do anything against them, they will defend themselves and they will have the right to do so.
Indeed.
Yes. So I think that's, I hate to say it, but that's the sort of future I see. I can't see any way out that this is not a big accident. This is not an accident.
Well, I was looking at it, we've had consecutive governments of different colours have pledged to smash the gangs. Who are bringing these. Has anyone been arrested? There are no gangs.
No. There was one gang that was smashed, and that was the gang that was taking illegal immigrants from the UK to France. They were arrested about a couple of years ago.
That tells you something, doesn't it?
And they were found guilty, or sentence was passed a few days ago, and it all came out. And I thought I hadn't heard about this before, so I went back and I did find a press release from the Home Office. Yeah, but it's from a press release from the Home Office saying we've arrested these people for taking migrants on lorries from Britain to France. So
that tells you all you need to know.
It wasn't in the press. I pressed news on Google. Nothing in the news. Nor was there anything in the news much about this when they said we've now passed sentence. They've been to trial. We found them guilty or whatever it is. But yeah, that's the one gang they have smashed. The reverse gang. And as Andrew says, that is exactly what you expect. And those guys will probably be getting medals. They will be getting promotions, and they'll be getting pay rises.
Well, I think we'll be releasing something in the next few days which may shed some light on these government policies around the migrants and their real commitment to stopping the problem. So we'll see.
And it involves sending more things than a few migrants back to France, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll wait for you to bring that out anyway. Yeah, so it's a pleasure.
Thanks,
and it's
Jeff.
Great to hear you today.
Nice to see you in the valleys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. And that is it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Now that little snippet about a video to come out from Andrew Bridgen is well worth keeping your eyes open for. I'll let you know when it comes out if you don't see it first. And finally, please like, subscribe and comment below, and if you like our content, please consider becoming a member by pressing the join button. And thank you for watching.